but I was just checking this out over the weekend and look what I found out. When you have wavy hair, it catches a lot when you brush it and it does break. So I've discovered that I have basically an absolute ton of little broken hair back here. And I'm 100% sure that comes from brushing it. Hi, my name is Helen. Welcome to my channel. This is week 3 of Girl, What Are You Doing With Your Life? AKA a series in which I take my hair that has fallen out of my head and stuff it into Ziploc bags every week. So we're here for fun. We're not here, this is not meant to be any kind of educational type video. We're just gonna see how much comes out every single week and kind of do a little bit of comparison and see what's what. When I say comparison, I just mean for me, from week to week. I don't want anybody to feel like they should compare themselves to this. This is not normal even for me. This is very, very little that I've been having so far. So my only ground rule here is that we're not gonna do any comparesies in the comments. You're welcome to leave any kind of comment that you like. I mean, you're welcome to compare yourself down below, but I just don't really want you to feel that way. This isn't meant to make anybody feel bad about what's going on with them. And don't forget, this is 4 years for me. This is not like 1 year later after starting to have hair loss. This is 4 years into a long journey of hair regrowth. So where were we? Last time you saw that I had a lot of broken hair back here. There's been some speculation in the comments as to whether maybe that is actually just regrowth. And I guess it could be. I just suspect, just given my hair brushing sort of habits, that it maybe comes from hair brushing, just because that's where I always hit the hair. I always grab it from exactly there. And it seems like a likely candidate for breakage, but who's to say? It could also be regrowth. Of course, we've got little fuzzy baby hairs here. That could be regrowth. And also flyaways. Those are normal. These are all normal things. What I have changed since the very beginning, since week 1, and I will link up all the weeks down below in the description box. So as they come out, I will be updating that list. Just make sure you go ahead and watch that. Another easy way to find the older videos is just, they're gonna say week 1, week 2, like in the thumbnail. So if you just like look through my videos and you just see the thumbnails, they'll say them in each one. It doesn't take too much sleuthing to figure that one out. The one thing that I changed is I've been adding this Pure shampoo, and those of you who have watched my prior videos or are just familiar with a lot of the shampoos I've tested you guys know that I've tested the blue one, and now I'm starting to test this one, so we are into it now. This is the professional grade Biotin shampoo. So this is apparently 2 times concentrated. It's a nice-ish shampoo right now, I've been finding, but it is really quite drying. So that is my knock with it. And every single time I wash with it, I'm getting tangles. So for instance, right now, I know that I've got a big tangle right around here and I won't yank it because I don't want to rip out more hair, but I know I got to work through that, for example. One thing I have also noticed though, is like the first time I used this, I didn't have very much hair loss, which was kind of a shock. And so as I kept using this, just my most recent wash, which was today, again, not very much loss. Is it the shampoo? Is it my routine, which has not really changed? What's going on? We don't know. I did promise that we would look at my blood work today, so I will show you some of that a bit later on, but I do want to tell you about one thing that I've been finding that's been working a little bit, and that is braiding my hair. My hair is so long now, it's not actually in frame. I can see that it's not in frame, so it's funny, like I'm needing to sit. Before I could sit quite close to the camera and all my hair would be in frame, and now I'm finding like I need to be back here for it to all be in frame, which it's getting quite long, and I know I keep threatening to cut it and I haven't done it yet. Just laziness basically, and just life, you know, life is always busy before the Christmas holidays, and so that is just how it's been for me as well. Yeah, so I want to talk to you about braiding and why that's been working for me, and then we'll look at the blood work, and then of course I know you're here to see how much hair I've lost this week, so I promise we will get to all of those things. Okay, so I just quickly, you know, put a brush through my hair. I wanted to work out that knot off camera just because you've seen me brush my hair so many times. You guys must be honestly quite tired of it. What I've been doing, and I think that's been helping a little bit, this is maybe one thing that I didn't think about until recently, which is that I've been keeping my hair in braids like 80% of the time because it's just so long now. I just am not the woman to have really long hair and always be like, and like I am a working parent, right? Like I am cooking all the time. I cook 3 meals a day. I don't really, you know, get much of a break from domestic life. I am here, I work from home, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I don't have anybody coming in to do those things. I'm doing them all. And so I'm finding that like long hair gets in the way. Like you're bending over to wash some lettuce. You don't want to have your hair falling into it as well. So I've been sort of braiding it as much as I can. What my secret is here, just really quickly, I'm gonna just blow through this really quickly, is that I part where my hair is the thickest. I would not part on this side because this is where my bald spot is. It's still thinner back there, but I find if I do a nice little combsy, I can kind of cover it up. And just very quickly, I'm not the best at braiding, for sure not. Again, I am mostly at home and there's nobody here to judge me, except my husband and my son, and they probably would not notice at all. Braid, no braid, I don't think that they would notice. They don't notice my hair at all. To them, my hair kind of does not really exist. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that, you know, like get a haircut, nobody really notices, especially if it's just a trim. Okay, so one of the reasons that braiding is a protective style is that you don't have to do anything once it's done, right? So once it's in the braid, it's kind of protected a bit. You don't need to brush it. It's not gonna get tangled once it is in a braid. And again, I'm not the world's best hair braider, but I'll just do this up real quick. You just have to brush your hair less. Obviously, you're not gonna be using any heat styling as well. So all those things are damaging, and plus other things I probably haven't even thought of. And of course, I can't speak for every kind of hair texture. I don't have a lot of experience, obviously, with very curly, coily hair. I can only sort of speak to my own sort of wavy hair. Wavy hair gets tangly. It does tend to get quite tangly. And so when you have it all braided, it doesn't get tangly, right? It's stuck in a braid. I know, because I've been here, many of you don't want to do a braid because your hair is very, very thin. My hair would be very, very thin too, like the braid looks really skinny. Sorry about that. The braid looks really skinny, and for a lot of you that is like a pain point. Like you don't like having this skinny looking braid. I've got a tiny little bit of tip for you. My braid is thicker than it actually would be if my hair was straightened. It would be a much thinner, skinnier braid. It's fatter because it's textured. I hope that that makes sense, right? Because the hair is wavy, I'm braiding it, it's a fatter look. Another way that you can fatten it up is that you just pull at it, and I'm sure you've seen people do this technique too. The other suggestion I have is if you find that your braid is skinny and you're self-conscious to go out, one thing you can do is braid it while it's sort of dampish, let it dry, take it out, and then you'll have waves, and then you re-braid the wavy hair. Does that make sense? This only works if you have only very little bend or wave in your hair. That way it will look thicker. So for instance, if I let this sort of set, dry, whatever, took it out, the next day if I make another braid, because it's already quite textured, when I make that braid, it kind of is, it sort of tricks the eye to thinking that it's fluffier. It is actually fluffier. There's more hair because there's more bends in it. You'll just make a fatter braid that way. So you can do that. Does that make sense? I hope that I explained that properly. So yeah, I've just been wearing my hair like this, and I'm pretty lazy. I just keep it like this, and I keep it like this all day, and I do whatever I need to do. And does this look great? It doesn't. It doesn't. I have breakaways and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. And I need to have this braid because I also have to wear a winter hat now because it's winter time where I am. So I need to be able to cover my ears. That's very important. If you live in a cold climate, you know what I'm talking about. So I can't really do like a high bun or a high braid, nor would I want to, because that would be pulling on the hair. So I've been doing this, and the net effect, I think, is that less hair is coming up because I'm brushing it less. I'm heat styling it less. Everything is less, just less of it is coming out during the day. It seems to be kind of beneficial. Okay, so that's all I had to say about braiding. We wanted to look at blood work now, so let's do that. So about, I think it's a week and a half ago at this point, I got some blood work done just as a regular checkup as part of my yearly physical. So if you haven't got a physical, especially because of COVID, please go and do that. Not just because of hair loss related stuff, just because it's good to keep on top of what's going on with your body. I have not seen my doctor yet. I was actually supposed to see her by now, but she had to reschedule, so I'm gonna see her next week. So I do have a few questions for her because I got my stuff back, and I hope you guys don't mind. I'm not gonna show you everything because I'm just guessing you don't wanna know my urinalysis, because they actually talk about the color of your pee, which is interesting here. That is mentioned on this list, but I'm just gonna show you the vitamin stuff because I think that that is sort of what we're kind of more concerned about in a general sense. Plus I have some other stuff that I don't know. It's like, there's a lot on here, right? Obviously, and I don't know how to read these, so I don't wanna put up all these numbers and give you sort of like misleading ideas of what I think, because I am not a healthcare professional. I am not a doctor. I am not someone who knows how to read these lab results, although I will say that the lab does flag things when they're out of the sort of normal range. Anyhow, without any further though, let's just look here. I will show you first off my vitamin B, because that has been an issue for me. My vitamin B12 has been an issue for me in years past. It says here that my number is 201 and the normal range is 138 to 652. So I guess I'm on the lower end of that. So I'm wondering if my doctor is going to tell me to try and boost it a bit. But according to this, the second column here is the sort of the normal range, and this first column here is what I'm at. So I guess it's on the lower side. I don't know. I'm going to talk to her about it. Ferritin, I'm at 105. The range seems to be 5 to 272. So I guess I'm okay there. Again, these are guesses because I am within the normal ranges here, but sometimes there's a difference between what the lab says is a normal range and what your doctor wants for you for optimal health. That is something I have noticed over the years. She might be telling me to like eat more legumes or something, or take vitamin B12 again. We shall see. The next one, and the one I think is kind of the one I'm the most curious about, is my vitamin D levels. So let's have a look here. Okay, so I have to admit I've been a bit on the lazy side in terms of taking my vitamin D. I've kind of forgotten since the end of the summer. This happens to me sometimes, and then I usually get a nudge from my doctor to start taking it again, and I'm like, oh yeah, get yourself into gear, Helen, make sure you're on top of your vitamin D. I take the drops. That's the one my doctor likes for me to take, rather than the pills. I'm sure the pills are fine too. She just thinks that these are optimal for me. Fine, happy enough to do that. The drops are easy because you just can drop them onto a little bit of food and take them that way. Okay, 83. So my number is 83, and the range that it is saying here, again, if you look in this column, is 75 to 250. So I guess I'm in the lower end of the range. Probably that could stand to be boosted, and I'm almost gonna bet that she's gonna tell me to just keep up with my vitamin D and that this is okay. At least it's not a deficiency level, although I bet you can find someone to tell you that this is deficient, but fine. This is interesting what it says here. It says season, race, and dietary intake affect vitamin D levels. Highest levels are found in the summer months and lowest levels during the winter. I think that that's pretty obvious. I live in Canada. My skin has not really properly seen the sun in order to get vitamin D since, I guess, October, because they say here from October to I think it's April that you cannot get enough vitamin D just from the sun here where I live. So that's interesting. So there we are. So I guess that's not explaining why I don't have any hair loss. It's not like these are all like fantastic or something like that. I guess they're adequate, but once again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really interpret these. I just thought I would be curious to see if I was deficient or if I were on the higher end of any of these. Maybe that would be a difference. No, I don't really know I still don't really know what's going on. That's basically what we're down to. Okay, so let's move on from that, and now we're just gonna look and see the contents of my Ziploc bag, which is maybe what you've all been waiting for. Here we go. So here we are, week 3. I'm not sure how readily that's able to be seen. This looks to me quite similar to week 2, and I'll show you guys. As you know, I like to grab a paper. So this is 1 week's worth of hair, once again. Yeah, there she is. Hairball take 3. So this is 1 week. This is my 3rd week. And again, this looks pretty similar. What am I doing with my... Now I'm just gonna grab my iPhone and we shall look at this week 1, week 2, week 3, and you guys can tell me whether you think that it's about the same. I think it is. Let's have a look. Okay, so here we are, week 3. Not too much, I don't think, for a week's worth, right? Here's week 2, and then here is week 1. Now you guys remember, no Ziploc bags were harmed in the making of this. This is why they look kind of a bit reused. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Let's get the wide look. So I think what we're seeing is week 1 was the most, week 2 was less, and okay, let's just look closer at these. I feel like there's a bit more in week 3. Yeah, I feel like there's an area here that you don't have here, and just visually, I don't know how clear it is, but you'll just have to trust me. There's more in the week 3 than there was in the 2. So that's interesting, right? So you can see, like, it varies, right? So you're gonna have, I guess this is, I would consider this to be normal. Sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less, sometimes you have more again. Okay, now that I look at this braid in the camera, I'm probably gonna redo it. It's kind of poking out here and I didn't do the best job. I shall do that. All right, I just quickly redid the braid. Okay, so that is week 3. Hope that was interesting to you. We can see how things fluctuated a little bit. Just stay tuned. Next week is our last week. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss that one. And I'm coming up to the Christmas holidays, so that will be my Christmas gift to all of you, I suppose. Oh my gosh, okay. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.